The only way that change has ever come about and ever will come about is when ordinary people stand up and fight back, and that is what this campaign is about. Brothers and sisters, it is my honor to introduce to you the next governor of the great state of Maryland, Berniecrat.
Eric Byler for TYT Politics. Bernie Sanders today endorsed Democrat Ben Jealous for Maryland governor in 2018. I spoke to the former NAACP president about his relationship with Senator Sanders and the progressive movement he helped him build a year ago.
Bernie Sanders and I agree on a lot. We have an opportunity here to actually help the voters see that they agree with each other on a lot and to go get it done. And that's why that's why I intend to be the next governor from the state. One of the mistakes that we make is in this country is that we don't talk about the ways that everybody is suffering. And so we'll talk about the homicide rate for black men under 30, but we don't talk about the suicide rate for white men over 55. We'll talk about the fact that we have the most incarcerated black and brown people on the planet, without mentioning that we also have the most incarcerated white people on the planet. And what they all have in common is that about 90% of them or so couldn't afford their own lawyer. Bernie and I have been organizers since we were young. And the first thing that you're taught is that you did not elect politicians to make change happen. No, you elect politicians to make it a little easier for you to make change happen, for the people to make change happen, for our movements to make change happen.
And what Ben Jealous is about, he has the radical idea that maybe, just maybe, government should represent all of the people and not just the 1%.
You're the former president of the NAACP. There are some people who aren't comfortable with that. I saw that in the comments when we were going live on your speech. How do you, do you put those people all in a box and say they're deplorable, or are you going to try to reach out to those people too?
I've made a dozen trips to the rural parts of the state already. And what I find is that when folks listen, and when I listen to them, when we talk with each other, we discover that we have far more in common than we don't. I was in a backyard on the Eastern Shore in a rural area. A Trump voter asked me if I supported single payer, and I said yes. And he said, well, then I'll vote for you, and I'll organize other Trump voters to vote for you. And I said, why? And he said, because I'm a finance manager at a car dealership. And every year I dread the same day. It's the day that we find out how much more than we expected our health insurance is going up again this year. He's saying, and then I have to have two conversations I hate to have. One is with the owner of the dealership to explain to him that once again, we're gonna have to revise down our profit projections because our health care is gonna eat up more of it than we expected. And the other is with our employees, and he paused and said, whom I love, to tell them once again when it comes to health care, they're gonna pay more and get less.
And see, the beautiful thing about Ben Jealous is that this is not some political calculation for him just because the majority of Americans believe that health care in this country is inadequate and believe that single payer is the way to go. This is not a political calculation for him. This is what he believes.
You know, folks say, Ben, are you running to the left? Are you running to the right? I say I'm running towards the people.
So there are going to be pundits, reporters, activists who are saying, I'm Bernier than thou. Those people, a lot of them even think they're Bernier than Bernie, right? And so they're going to try to, okay, and they're going to try to push you and push you and push you to the left, and then that might be something that could be used against you when you get to the general. How do you plan to navigate that?
I'm running as Ben Jealous. I'm running as a guy who's been a civil rights organizer his entire life, who's run advocacy nonprofits to help folks make sure that their voices were heard, and somebody who co-chaired Bernie Sanders' campaign here in the state and was one of his national surrogates. And the reality is that the people of this state know that it's my name on the ballot, and they want to know who I am. And I'm fortunate to have a long track record. It's very clear that I'm somebody who fights for people, who unites people across lines, and who frankly only knows how to run one way. I got size 14 feet. I can't be switching up positions. You know, I gotta just gotta run in one direction, and that direction is always towards the people, trying to figure out how do we build real solutions.
So what I'm hearing is you're going to plant those. Okay. Thank you. You're going to plant those 14 size shoes. You're going to plant those size 14 shoes firmly on the progressive side, and then you're going to reach out to people who are to your right and try to explain to them why this is better for the state as a whole.
I have planted my size 14 feet right here in the state that my family's been rooted in for almost 80 years, and I'm fighting to make sure the working families of the state get a better deal. And we will surprise people in our ability to unite people across every line they say is supposed to keep us apart. We'll find that across those lines, we will build bridges that will bring us all together.